Alright, this is kind of a crappy recording because I forgot to record anything about this, but you can see that tab right there. There's another one exactly opposite of it, 180. That's kind of on the bottom right. You use those after you take the bolts off to get the cover off. This one has been on there forever, probably never opened once. So you can't really romp real hard on those tabs. It's only cast aluminum, they'll break. Used a mixture of like PB Blaster and heat and slowly worked it off to get it off. Alright, I got everything on the motor fix up complete. So I started putting the case back together. Put a sticker on there. I got it down on a really low RPM, just chugging away. I decided I'm not going to replace all the sound insulation. Had to bend the case and stuff back a little bit. See how slow she's chugging away. Cleaned up in here pretty good. There's an O-ring that I need that goes right there, and then around the outside of the cover. I couldn't find any parts made for this pump anywhere, so I bought a O-ring making kit. When that comes here, I'll be able to finish up the pump and test it. These are just 2-inch NPT fittings, so I'm going to get some cam locks for it. And I added a ball valve to where the pump drain is, so you can easily drain it out when it's out. Pretty cool though. Alright, so I got my Loctite O-ring making kit in. There's the old O-rings. There's the new O-rings I made. It doesn't say anything special about letting them cure for a long time, but I'm going to give them a little while. And got everything ready to put back together here. Put the cam lock fittings on. The way I'm setting it up is the intake side is going to have a male fitting on it. The discharge side is going to have a female. Metal fittings are on the pump, and then I got some plastic covers for storage, so nothing could get in there. So yeah, I'm going to put it back together here soon in a little bit, and I'm probably going to take like a bead of grease to help it slip on these tight spots. I'm going to try to move some water with it. Alright, got it greased up, the O-rings in. Putting the cover on, you want to make sure it's put in the right way. Two reasons I'm putting the grease on. One, to just help it all go back to get together better. Actually, I guess it would be three. There's that reason. Two is to hold the O-rings in place, so if they were dry, they might like roll out of place when you're pushing it in. And then three, it does help it seal up a little bit better. You're tightening this in. You want to do it even. See, as I'm getting it tight now, it's squeezing out some of that grease. I'm not really going to romp down on this thing really super tight. So we're back together. I'm going to have to go figure out a setup to move some water. So this isn't an ideal setup. I just had an old drum. I got my garden hose filling it up. It's almost all the way there. Tried to get a little bit of water in the hose, but it's supposed to be a self-priming pump. I don't have a discharge hose, so it's just going to spray water everywhere. Got a good gasket in the hose, so I'll start it and see if it primes, starts pulling. I don't know how it's going to empty that quick at full throttle, but once it starts pumping, I'll probably turn it down. Alright, the only thing I could think is possibly put in there's a little flapper check valve in there. I put that in there incorrectly. That's the only thing I could think. So I'm gonna open that up and check it, see if I put it in there wrong, and I'll start recording again. I'll try again. All right, one last thing I'm gonna try is I just took the hose and put some water in there to sort of fill the pump cavity. There was some water in there. Maybe it takes longer than I thought to prime, because I opened the ball valve and a little bit of water drained out. So let's see. Alright, I drilled there's a 1/2 inch hole that I drilled in the corner. You can see it right there. And then I tilt the pump up to get the rest of the water out. And it's gonna flow that way. I got most of it out already. So that way not a whole bunch of it sits at the bottom. And then you can even tilt it. Flip it a little bit, but you can kind of tilt it the other way. Hand up into the corner to get almost all the water out, even with the cover on. Alright, so I got the cover and stuff back on. I'm going to try one more time to see if the very first time I started it, I just wasn't being patient enough to allow it to try to prime. So this is on. Look out, Sven, it's about to overflow. Put this in here and the hose and everything is all drained out. Alright, well, I'm not entirely sure why it won't prime itself. I'm going to read the technical manual and see if I'm doing something wrong. In my experience, these type of pumps don't actually self-prime themselves, but this time we're going to have some fun. But it does work, so it's a success. What I may do, if there isn't something that I'm doing wrong, is I may add something to the plumbing so you can pour a little bit of water in there to get it primed. Or it could be because I don't have a discharge hose, so I'm going to try one more time when I get a discharge hose. So for now it's all complete. I can use it. I got a discharge hose and stuff. If I end up making any other major modifications to it to make it work better or anything, I'll post a follow-up video. But the pump is officially rehabilitated and works.